Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Double Meal Dad. I'm your host, the Double Meal Dad. And don't adjust your computer screens. I really am wearing this bright orange of a shirt. This series is dedicated to the young women of Gamma Phi Beta, where my daughter is a member of their sorority. And ladies, this episode's for you. We're going to do chicken enchiladas. And the reason why we're going to do this is because I know a lot of you are going to be graduating soon. You're going to be having families of your own and starting your own careers. And so this is going to be a very simple meal for you to prepare when you get home from work, or start before you go to work, and be able to finish up when you get home. So this episode is dedicated to you. For those of you, if this is the first time you've seen the Double Meal Dad, the concept of Double Meal Dad is a very simple one. It's how can we stretch our dollars further by buying more of the types of foods that are on sale, but using it in multiple meals and getting different flavors so we don't feel like we're eating the same thing over and over again. In essence, the double meal. So when we come back, we're going to put this all together, and I'll walk you through the steps. So look forward to seeing you in a few minutes. Hey, welcome back to the Double Meal Dad Kitchen. Got my apron on, I'm all ready to go. This is a real simple recipe. Again, like I said, it's going to take you less than a few minutes to put together. It's going to take 30 minutes in the oven. I've got the oven preheated on 350. And there's really going to just be a couple components to this. The first component is the filling. And the filling is just going to be some leftover chicken, and I'll show you what I did here. All I did was I took some chicken breast. And by the way, I showed you how to cut up the chicken. You can use any type of chicken parts you want. Shoot, if you don't have any leftover chicken, you know, a lot of the grocery stores are doing a great job with rotisserie chickens. You can stop on the way home and buy a rotisserie chicken. This meal is that easy. You can use any type of leftover chicken. Now what I did is I just took the leftover chicken breast that I had, I took it off of the bone, I took the skin off, I put it in the crock pot. And like I said, I'll put the recipe out on there. So before you go to work, you throw the chicken breast in there. I put a can of Rotel tomatoes in there, a little bit of chicken broth, some cumin, and some Mexican oregano, and some chili powder. Again, it's a teaspoon of everything, so real easy measurements. 3 teaspoons, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cumino, and 1 teaspoon, down here in Texas we say cumino, so cumin, cumino, depending on where you're from, and then the Mexican oregano. So chili powder, cumino, and Mexican oregano. I'll put the recipe like I said, and I'll also put the link on how to cut up a chicken, and I left your recipe for that on how to bake chicken. So this is just the leftover chicken, and now we're going to make the filling. So while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and cut up a yellow onion. And okay, you don't have a yellow onion, you can do this with a white onion. Yellow onion's usually a little bit sweeter than the white onion, so if you like yours a little bit sweeter flavored, you can use a yellow onion instead of a white onion. Skin does not want to come off on this one, so let's see what we're... There we go. Now we got her off. Remember, we're going to save these skins for our soup. By the way, that a lot of you have written in and asked me to write the recipe down for the broth and how we do that chicken broth, our soup bowl. I'm going to go ahead and do that later on this week, so you'll be able to see that. I just want to go ahead and chop this up, get it out of the way so you can see. And I want to thank you all for all your comments and all your nice posts and everything on the YouTube there. Appreciate it. Any other suggestions or comments you might have, feel free. I hope you'll subscribe to our posts. Thanks to the nice folks in Iowa at the hatchery that subscribed on our chicken show. We did appreciate that, and all your nice comments as well. So I just cut up a little onion here. Go ahead and get my pan started. The recipe here is we're going to take 1 white or yellow onion, as I said, a little bit of olive oil in our pan. I'm going to get that started. And I'm going to go ahead and start to cook up these chopped onions. The next part of the recipe is you just want to go and get yourself some spinach. Now all I did was I bought the box of frozen spinach, a 10-ounce box of frozen spinach. If you want to buy the bag of the fresh spinach and just kind of saute it up a little bit, you can do that as well. Whatever you have, go ahead and throw spinach. If you don't like spinach, leave the spinach out. It's not a problem. Remember, we don't judge here on the Double Meal Dad Kitchen. So I've got some spinach. I'm going to get those onions going. while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some jalapenos. Mama Rose cut up grew some jalapenos in her garden. So go ahead and cut up some red and some green jalapenos. Again, we like ours a little bit spicier down here, so if you're not a fan of the spice, you want to leave the spice out, you don't have to put the jalapenos in it. If you like it a lot spicier, you can go ahead and put in habanero peppers or scotch bonnets. Last show we talked a little bit about roasting, and I'm going to give you a tip on some of this other stuff here. Our local HEB does this nice thing where they'll roast hatch peppers for you. They've got a big roaster and they go through and they roast the hatch peppers. So I'm just going to go ahead and, they roasted a couple of them up for me. I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple of these in here as well. You can substitute green peppers if you'd rather. You don't have to use hatch peppers. Hatch peppers got, remember as I said, it's a little bit more like a New Mexico chili. It's got a little bit more heat to it. So go ahead and cut these up real quick. Add that to my mix. And then the last ingredient is going to be a can of our niblet corn. So I had about 3 breasts left over of chicken that I'm using, so I want about a 1 can of corn to add to that. So I went and was going to go buy some corn, but guess what? Corn was on sale at HEB again for $6 or $1 for 6 years. So you can't beat the price when you're getting that much more. A can of corn costs about 72 cents if you get the generic. This was, 6 of them for $1. So typically what I do is I just cut the fronds off the top, pull off some of the extra skin, and then just turn your grill on, get it up nice into a medium high, and just let it go ahead and cook until you get a nice char on there. And what will happen is the corn will steam itself on the inside of that husk. And then all you have to do is, real simple trick, you're going to pull that husk right off like this. Now let it cool down. Don't do this right when it comes off the grill. We don't want any burnt fingers out there. I've worked in a lot of restaurants, so my hands are a little bit more tenacious when it comes to hot stuff. But we're just going to pull this back, and then when you pull it back, just grab that bottom of the husk right there and pop that out, and the whole thing will come off in one easy motion. And there you've got your corn all set. So I'm going to chop some of that off of there. When we come back, I'm going to add this to our filling here, and then we're going to fill up our enchiladas. We'll get them in the oven, and I'll show you how to put it all together. So I'll see you in a couple minutes. Hey, welcome back. So as you can see, I started with that yellow onion. I just roasted up fried up the yellow onion in a little bit of olive oil, and I got that going. Then I added my 10-ounce package of spinach and my can. In this case, I had about 4 whole cobs of corn, where I cut the corn off the cob. I added my hatch peppers, my jalapeno peppers, and I'm just heating this through. I just want it to get warm because I'm going to cook this in the oven still, so it's going to cook. So I don't want to overcook it, but I just want to kind of warm this through. Now, the corn is still pretty warm. The onions, I just want them to saute a little bit. And I'm also going to add just a little bit, while this is going, I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper. And a little bit of salt. Now, if you like it extra spicy, you can add yourself some cayenne pepper here or some red pepper flakes. And that's it. At this point, we have, let me just test that a little bit. Oh yeah, that spinach is nice and hot. Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, nice and hot. We've got the other half of our filling. So I'm just going to move this over here. Get myself a hot plate. Get my tongs right there. We don't like to do too much cleanup at the Double Meal Dad, so anytime we can reuse things and that way not have to worry about it. All we do now is we assemble. So all I got myself here is a lasagna pan. And remember, depending on the number of people you're cooking for, you can dial this recipe up or down. So flour tortillas were on special, so I got myself some flour tortillas. You can use wheat tortillas, you can use corn tortillas, whatever you like. And now I'm just going to go ahead and fill these up with some of my meat, some of my, try not to get the twist tie in there, some of my filling, my spinach and my corn and my onion, try to get a little bit of everything in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of Colby Jack. There was a special today, 2 for $4 on the packaged cheese. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Colby Jack. You're just making like you would make a enchilada or a taco. We're going to go ahead and wrap that up. And then we're going to go ahead and fill in our pan. I'm going to fill them all in here and a couple in this way. When we come back, I'll show you how to top it off and get it in the oven. So I'll see you in a couple of minutes after I've got these all stuffed. Hey y'all, welcome back. Okay, so I was able to squeeze 9 of them in there. I got 7 along the side here and two on this side over there. I've got them all packed pretty good. Now look, it's the double meal dad, but we're going to turn the double meal dad into the triple meal dad. Look, I got plenty of chicken left over. I got plenty of filling left over. Don't throw this away, y'all, alright? This is good filling. You now can take this, we're going to let it cool down, and I want you to get a big gallon bag, write enchilada filling on it, and you've now got the filling already made for a month from now or for 2 weeks from now, because your kids are absolutely going to love this recipe. Your husband's going to love this recipe. Your wife's going to love this recipe. So, outstanding. Your filling's all there. So I'm going to set this aside for right now. And we just turned the double meal dad into the triple meal dad. So now let's go ahead and make our topping for this and get it in the oven. We're going to start with tomatillos. And if you remember our last episode we talked about roasting. I also talked about how we roasted the corn out on the grill. So if you don't live down here in the South and you're not used to getting tomatillos, it looks like a green tomato. It's got kind of a husk on it, and we're going to peel that husk off, and then we're just going to roast it on the grill. And they come out nice and soft and roasted, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw them in the blender real quick. If you want to make it spicy, you can throw in some. I'm going to go ahead and get all this good juice in here too, because I want to make it a little bit smooth. Look at that, real simple. Now look, if you don't have time, you don't have tomatillos in your at your grocery store, or you don't have time to go and roast some tomatillos, no problem. Go and get yourself some green salsa. Usually it'll say made with tomatillos on it. We've got this great stuff down here called that green sauce. This has actually got guajillo chilies in here, and I think it's got poblanos. Yeah, poblanos, green tomatoes. I'm just going to sneak a little bit of this in there, just a little dab of that in there. That's just going to give it a little heat. Whatever you want to use for this. We want that good, tomatillo's got a very good lime flavor to it, so we want that good limey flavor to it to give it. Now we're just going to use sour cream right here, and I bought the light kind. I know some of you have been commenting that double meal dad probably shouldn't be eating all that heavy cream and everything, so I went with the light this time. Let's see, get that in there. Got a nice little spatula. I'll scrape that right in. So it's just 1 16-ounce container of sour cream to 6 good-sized medium tomatillos. And we'll go ahead and put that down. I'm just going to give this a little light blend. And that's all there is to it. And we're done. All mixed up, all nice and creamy. Go ahead and mix that through. And then we're just going to go ahead and put this right on top of the enchiladas, and we're just going to go ahead and bake this through. Now, cheese. I know some of you know we've got cheese in the middle of this, and you know it's going to be a really cheesy filling in the middle, but I like it to have a little extra cheese on top. I don't want that to bake off because we're going to bake this for about 30 minutes, and so I don't want it all to bake off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake this for about 30 minutes, and then about 5 minutes, I'm going to bake it for another 5 minutes afterwards. I'm going to put some cheese on it and just put some jalapeno jack cheese. When we come back, I'll show you how to make the pico de gallo to kind of dress it up, and we'll cut into it and we'll show you what it looks like. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Hey, welcome back to the Double Meal Dad Kitchens. We got our chicken enchiladas in the oven. Those are cooking up. They've been in for about 10 minutes. While that's going on, we are going to make a little pico de gallo. Pico de gallo is real simple to make, just a few ingredients. Don't have time to make pico de gallo? Buy yourself a pack of fresh pico de gallo. So many of the grocery stores like our local HEB are doing fresh pico de gallo when you go into the produce section, so you can go ahead and get that. I just bought some Roma tomatoes. They were on special for 72 cents a pound. Can't beat the price. We're just going to cut those up. Just cut the ends off them and go ahead and cut this long way. Now remember the Double Meal Dad tip. I can't overemphasize it enough. You got to have a sharp knife. Cutting tomatoes is, tough enough without a sharp knife. Remember what our trick is. If we don't have a very sharp knife, use a bread knife. A bread knife goes through tomatoes very easily, so you can use a bread knife instead if you'd rather do that. So I'm going to go ahead and just dice these up. Roma tomatoes. So I've got about 7 or 8 of about this size of Roma tomato. Roma tomatoes sometimes called a plum tomato, or that's what my grandmother used to call them. But the Roma tomatoes, I'm going to go ahead and throw those in the bowl. I'm actually using the same bowl I had the tomatillos in, so I don't have to wash another bowl. And then I'm going to take one red onion. I've already cut up half of this, so I'm going to cut up the other half, just trying to save some time on the video, so you don't have to watch me chop up a whole red onion. But go ahead and chop half of that up, nice and diced there. I'm going to put that in the bowl as well, and then I'm going to add. Mama Rose had some serrano peppers that she cut up in the garden, that she grew in the garden. So I'm just going to go ahead and chop those up nice and fine. If serranos are too spicy for you, you don't like it that hot, skip the serranos. You don't have to put any peppers in here. You can get a lot of jalapenos now that are mild jalapenos. They're not spicy at all. You can buy those instead. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little serrano, get a little heat in there. And then I'm going to put the juice of 1 lime. I'm just going to add the juice of 1 lime in there. And if I don't put cumino in my pico de gallo, my daughter Stephanie will give me a hard time, even though she's away at school. But I've got to put some cumino in there, so for flavoring, this is for you, Steph, a little cumino. And that's it. That's all there is to the pico de gallo. So I'm going to mix this up. When we come back, we're going to serve up our chicken enchilada. And I'm going to put it all together on a plate. We're going to top it with the pico de gallo. And we're going to open up for this episode. Now, those of you who are real wine aficionados, you are not going to probably appreciate this bottle. But this has been a fun bottle of wine to try. It's the Habanero Red. It's got habanero heat, habanero pepper, and a red wine. It's going to pair beautifully with this meal. So we're going to open up a bottle of this, and we're going to have a glass of wine, and we're going to serve up our chicken enchiladas. So we'll see you in a couple. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Double Meal Dad Kitchen, or I guess the Gamma Phi Beta Kitchen today. Here we are. We've got our chicken enchiladas all done. We're going to close that. We're going to shut that off, so everything's good to go here. We're going to go ahead and serve this up about 10 minutes right before we finish. We cooked it for about 35 minutes, and 10 minutes before it was done, I went ahead and I threw some jalapeno jack cheese right on top of there. So there's my chicken enchilada with all my filling, and a little extra filling that came out there. I'm going to go ahead and put that on top. And then I'm just going to serve up a little bit of this pico de gallo right on top of there. Just a little bit of that. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this right open. And I'm going to show you what that looks like inside. All that beautiful cheese and filling, and it's steaming. And go ahead and try a little bit here. It might be a little hot, so we're going to get a little bit of that pico de gallo in there to cool me off a little bit. Oh my. Oh, that's good. Whoa. Oh, lime. Delicious. Now look at Double Meal Dad. So we got some leftover chicken. We got leftover filling. Go ahead and get yourself a 1 pound bag. Mark that chicken enchilada. The corn was 6 for $1. We only needed 4 ears. We took the other 2 ears. We marked it in here. You can freeze this just like that. You can cook it and freeze it, or you can freeze it fresh. We got some extra tortillas. We're going to make some breakfast tacos, maybe for the kids for the week, or for the family for the week, or for ourselves, so we can grab those on our way to work. Listen, I hope you had a great time. A big shout out to the ladies at Gamma Phi Beta at the sorority. Roll Tide, y'all. I hope you learned something out of here, and you'll take the time to go ahead and make this recipe. If you do, like us on our YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe and send me those comments. So have a great week, and take care, y'all.